world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. John says it is not of the Father, but is of the world. In this final lesson, we are going to be talking about the subject of lust. Before I get started, I don't know, I didn't post about it or haven't mentioned anything about it, but my previous phone crashed for a few days, like 3 days, and it took me a few days to get a new one. Actually, I didn't get a new one. Someone gave me a nice one to replace mine with, and I broke it today. And so if you are a non-iPhone user, I can't respond to your text. There's only a couple of the letters on the keyboard that actually work. And so I am looking to get that replaced with a magical, crack-proof, bulletproof, fireproof case to go on it. And I am horrible with protecting phones. So 1 John tells us that, I didn't read verse 17, did I? The world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. So he says, John tells us that if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him, which is a powerfully exclusive statement that if you love the world, is not in you. And I think it's interesting that he states it that way. He does not say if you love the world, you do not love the Father. It says if you love the world, the Father's love is not in you. The love of the Father is not in you. And that's an interesting way to make that statement. But the point is that you can't love the world and love God at the same time, because God is a jealous God. He requires exclusive devotion and worship. And this is a tremendous statement that not many Christians want to hear in a modern context. But the reality is that John taught very clearly that you cannot love the world and have the love of the Father in you at the same time. And that all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. Now, these are the three categories of all temptation. Every temptation that a person will ever experience to sin is going to fit under one of those three categories. Either the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, or the pride of life. And in particular, we are focusing on lust this evening as the final topic of the glittering vices. And of course, one of the primary places that we discuss and talk about lust, even in a biblical context, is human sexuality. So the question tonight is, there's several of them, about sex. Is it the enemy? Is it the forbidden fruit? Is it the greatest and most shameful of all sins? Or is it the key to happiness, the ultimate fulfillment of desire? It is a picture of our relationship with God, holy and pure. Is it a picture of our relationship with God, holy and pure, or a matter of casual weekend recreation? If marriage is truly good, why does most Christian radio broadcast only platonic love songs crooned to God and not to flesh and blood members of the opposite sex? And how often you hear worship songs or songs that are supposed to be worship songs that have almost no mention of God in it whatsoever, and you could easily sing it to a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or a husband, or a wife. And I have to admit, sometimes it's extremely annoying hearing that kind of supposed worship music that is nothing more than a love song that has no mention of God or Jesus in it whatsoever. And I honestly don't think that that kind of music is all that God glorifying. And God doesn't get, I don't think, a whole lot of glory out of that kind of music.